So it's 2021. My God, just saying those numbers, it's like 2021. I mean, by all counts, Back to the Future Part 2 took place. Their future was 2015, which was 6 years ago. Blade Runner, the future of Los Angeles, was 2017. Jeez. And now we're in 2021. Last year was a bit of a challenge for a lot of people, and it's still a challenge going into this year, but we're going to make it better, hopefully. What are we going to talk about here on Film Fan right now? We're going to talk about 2021. We're going to talk about what's happening. Why am I on YouTube? What's it like being on YouTube and what it's been like for me for the last couple of months? Should you start your own channel on YouTube? Should I have started my own channel? Do I have a long way to go? Am I making progress? Is it a mess? Do I have a headache? Do I feel like I'm doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? I don't know. We're going to find out, though. We're going to talk about it next on Film Fan. Hey, welcome to Film Fan, my channel where I discuss all things film related, television related, and my passion for such things. If that is also your thing and you've not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button along with that little notification bell so you know when I put up new content. So it's a new year. And I wanted to start off the year with a video that just kind of talked about the channel and some of the direction that I'm planning to take the channel in, and just talk about a little bit of my experience so far being on YouTube so far. And in case there are people out there who are looking to start a new YouTube channel in 2021, or those of you who already have a channel and you could possibly relate to me and what I'm saying here. So what's it been like? Well, I started the channel in August, the end of August. Quick shout out and thank you to everyone who has been with me from day one, and those of you who continue to subscribe and have recently joined me. So thank you to you. Let me get that out of the way first. So end of August, I started my YouTube channel. I prepared for it sometime in, I think I committed to doing it sometime in, I want to say March, April. Not even, probably like April, May, I think I started to have the idea. The pandemic hit, March that's when everything kind of went into lockdown phase here in New York. And I guess around the rest of the country followed suit. And it was becoming clear, like I just had time. I was home and we were adjusting to things and homeschooling and working from home and different things. So I think a lot of people, I'm not alone. A lot of people use that opportunity in that time to broadcast themselves in some meaningful way, whether it was going ahead and committing to that YouTube channel they always wanted to do, or they had an idea for something, or they were stuck at home and just needed shit to do. So they said, hey, I'll do a YouTube channel. That was me. I always thought that I'd want to do a YouTube channel. And I do have a YouTube channel that's totally separate. That was my photography business channel, but I barely use it. And it wasn't really set up to be a YouTube channel that I was actually going to maintain. I kind of just use it as a place to put up videos every now and then when I had to do a tutorial or explain something to photographers or actors regarding that business. So when I went into making this channel, I figured, what am I going to talk about and why am I creating a YouTube channel? It was kind of like, well, I didn't want to just do something for no reason. And movies are kind of my thing. I talk about movies and screenwriting and talk about directors and editing and cinematography. And I could go on for days with people about movies. And I watch movies consistently, and I'll watch them 4, 5, 6 times. And I've seen movies hundreds of times. And people look at me like, why do you watch the same movie 100 times? How could you have seen a movie that many times? So that's me. So it made sense. When I was discussing this with people, it made sense for me to talk about what it is I know about and what I really love. Even if I don't know everything about it, it's my passion and it is what I love. So I was like, you know what? I'll do a YouTube channel. Now, here's the thing. That said, let's talk about some of the challenges with having a YouTube channel and how that whole thing goes. So in the beginning, for me, I'm kind of particular. Those who know me will know that if I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it half-assed and I'm not going to do it the wrong way. By all means, I'm going to do everything I can to try to get things right. So for me, the first thing was knowing that I had to get what's my channel going to look like? What's it going to feel like? What's the vibe? What's my set? What's my studio going to look like? And I had to do a couple of things in teaching myself about audio, which I'm still learning. Some of you will notice that. Please forgive me. You'll notice that my audio is not always on point, and I'm working on that. But I had to figure things out. Do I get this kind of microphone? Do I use a lavalier microphone? Should I use a boom microphone? What's going to give me the best situation? And without making this a whole video about equipment and such, which I will get into in a different video when I do like one of those sort of, obligatory sort of like, this is my studio, this is what I use, this is what I shoot with. But this microphone, I chose this in particular because it does a really good job of just picking up my vocal patterns right here. So I guess it's cardioid pattern and it's right here. If I did a boom microphone, I'd wind up getting much more ambient noise where I'm shooting, and I don't have a soundproof studio. So we never added sound blankets or anything to actually absorb sound. There's no carpet in this particular area. I don't have anything soundproofing or any kind of sound panels on the wall. I originally thought I was going to do that. We were going to kind of do these walls and some of the ceiling and some of the floor, or I was going to hoist like sound blankets up. I was actually looking into that, but this is a much better solution, and it works for me because it does not pick up a lot of noise going over here. And then whatever processing I do in post, which kills whatever ambient, it kind of works. I just got to get better at learning to place myself with the mic and get the right pattern and get much better with my post processing. So I follow a lot of videos like Curtis Judd and people out there who I look to for inspiration when it comes to how do I get the best audio. That said, I knew I needed to get all this stuff figured out, my lighting, how I was going to do that, how I was going to capture the audio, what audio interface. So I was kind of preoccupied with all these things of like, well, I got to have a set and I got to know what it's going to look like and how am I going to do my background and what am I going to put on the back wall? And, I knew it was going to be film related. So that's why we got the film thing going on there, the film projection thing. I found that like on Amazon somewhere and threw it up. I was originally going to do a bunch of movie posters. So I bought like these marquee movie premiere frames and I put posters in. There's a Blade Runner 2049 over there. I'll flash it up on the screen because you can't see it in the shot. But originally I had a different angle so you could see that poster, and I was going to change the poster out every so often. I built this shelf here that has all the movies and such. I said, okay, this is all like film related paraphernalia and stuff that's going to make my channel a film channel. Made sense, right? So here we are. Outside of that, whether I was standing or sitting, if you look at some of my earlier videos, I'm standing up. So I have a Jarvis standing desk here. So if I press a button, the desk goes up and down. And originally I was more comfortable standing and kind of just freestyling everything. But I changed that somewhere like halfway through, and now I'm sitting down. So all these little things I'm talking about are just some of the things that seem like not a big deal, but they're all questions that you ask yourself when you're starting the channel. They're things that you work out in your head and that you work out practically while you're putting the channel together. And a lot of it is just nerve-wracking because you're not 100% sure, and you're thinking in terms of what you want. You're thinking in terms of what's going to work, how it's going to work on camera, what it's going to look like. And I am no expert on this whole thing. I'm a still photographer, so I had to learn and teach myself a whole bunch of this stuff. So closing that conversation out, yeah, if I have to give any advice on this, it's to learn whatever you have to learn. Figure out what your overall thing is for your channel, your aesthetic, your look, your brand, and go from there and then build it out and figure out whatever you don't know. Either get somebody who's really good at that particular thing or learn it on your own and just go from there as far as equipment goes and how to actually use equipment. And again, I'm still freaking learning, so it is what it is. Moving from there, it came down to me finding my voice. Didn't know if I was going to do my channel like this with this voice here. I think, you know what? I could do that voice for the entire channel, for every video I do. I said, no, it's not going to work. Then I said, you know what? And I did have some votes to do it that way, but I didn't. Then I figured, well, do I do a deep voice? Do I have to do this? Do I have to project more? Do I need to speak, from down here? And how should I do this channel? I don't know. Maybe I'll use a Southern accent. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this, but I had different ways. I had options. I just wasn't sure what to do. And I'm still finding that voice. So yes, finding my voice, trying to figure out how do I have this conversation about movies? Do I talk about it like am I going to do some Siskel and Ebert kind of thing? Am I going to do something where I'm like, today's movie, we're going to talk about the latest edition. I didn't know if it was going to be serious and that kind of, or if it was just going to be conversational. And I think I'm going more the direction of this podcast sort of conversational thing where I just have a conversation, where I just talk and that's it. But with that said, more challenges. One of the things that early on, when I thought about the channel and how it was all about, well, do what you're good at or do what you know and talk about what you know, that sounds much easier than it is, because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, once I get all this stuff nailed down and once I figure out my audio and get my set and I sit down and start talking about movies, I'll just pick movies and start talking about them. Sounds easy. And it should have been. And sometimes it is, but other times, because it's a YouTube channel, because you are addressing an audience, especially the people who are following you and they're giving you the opportunity to impress them or to make it worth their time to be on your channel, I had to start mapping things out and thinking about, how am I going to do this? Do I do a teleprompter? Do I do notes? If you've noticed a lot of my videos, I keep my computers here and I just look at my screen and I do notes. Early on, I was such a numbnut. I was doing takes and stopping it every single time I screwed up. Like, I'd go for a little while and then I would get kind of frustrated. I would stop the audio, stop the video, and then start all over again. And then I realized, and I learned, that the better way to do it is just keep these bullet points, keep these notes, keep like a script of sorts here, look at it, do it, and then learn to jump cut. So the jump cut, here it is, right? I learned about that, how to do that, and kind of make it a little easier for me while I was shooting. So, quick little note, anyone out there looking to start a YouTube channel, if you're kind of curious about things, understand the jump cut, understand how to edit your videos, and how while you're shooting them with the edit in mind, if that makes any sense. Filmmakers will understand that makes sense. So yeah, I was trying to figure out what style to do this in, and like, how do I do a take, and whether I have to write things down. And I am still figuring this out. I'm still trying to master this. I'm still trying to get a workflow that makes sense and is producing the best content I can produce. At the end of the day, one of the things you should always keep in mind and use as a motivational factor is you're creating something for an audience, okay? No matter what you say, even if you tell yourself, I'm doing it for the love of doing it and I'm just doing it for me. That might be true, but you're still trying to build an audience. That's why you're on YouTube. Otherwise, you just do videos for yourself and watch them by yourself in your living room. You're trying to build an audience. And if you get people, whether it's 1 subscriber, 1,000 subscribers, whoever it is, if you got these people watching you, then there's a certain amount of, you kind of owe them. You owe them to produce content that's worth their time. So I'm constantly trying to figure out, am I doing this right? Am I making sure I'm delivering the right information? I've made mistakes in some of my videos. It happens. And it's just, it's an ongoing thing. So don't want to make this too wordy. I've already spoken too much, but let me get into some other things. Regarding movies, for example, it's a movie channel. I started a YouTube channel critiquing movies when we couldn't even go to the movies. In the middle of a pandemic, I started a channel. And I had people tell me, shout out to Brad Trent, shout out to a couple other people, who were like, you're going to do a movie review channel that we can't go to the movies. I was like, well, I'll do movies that I have in my collection, movies that people may not have seen. And that was a lot of the motivation for the channel at that particular time. So if you look at the end of my videos, I usually end with the saying, if a movie is 25 years old, 15 years old, 10 years old, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. If you've never seen it, then that movie is brand new to you. And that's how I end my videos. And that is, for me, one of the more important themes of this whole thing is that, we live in a time where now we are saturated with so much content, so many movies, so many streaming services, so many cable channels. There was a time when there was ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS, and maybe Fox or whatever it was. Now you've got 20 different HBOs, 20 different Showtimes, 20 different Stars packages, Cinemax packages. You got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. We have so much content being produced, and it's all a lot of quality content. It's not just going to the movies anymore, and TV is something else, and it's lesser. It's like the TV studios, Netflix, they're making great content. Actors are transcending both mediums. We have such access to so much stuff. So there's a lot of material that you just haven't seen. There's tons of TV shows I wish I had watched. They're still brand new to me though, right? If I haven't seen it, it's brand new. Deadwood. One of my friends keeps recommending Deadwood, and I never saw Deadwood. I watched maybe one episode of it. I love Ian McShane. He's a great actor. I know the Timothy Olyphant. I know the cast. Never saw the show. Didn't watch it. So for me, Deadwood is brand new, even if it came out in 2004. So that's my whole motivation with this channel, is getting you familiar with content maybe you've never seen, and just trying to keep up with the movies that are coming out and making it worth your time watching this channel. It's the same thing with books. If you look at books, if you've never read Hemingway, Faulkner, Zora Neale Hurston, James Baldwin, if you've never read Faulkner, if you've never read Ovid, if you've never read Toni Morrison, if you haven't read Maya Angelou, and these are Fitzgerald, right? If you've never read any of their work, these are books that are there that are going to be brand new pieces of art for you, brand new pieces of inspiration, brand new prose and poetry and art and expression of humanity. So I don't want to get too crazy on this one, but yeah, it's the same thing. Movies are the same exact thing. So that's all I want to talk about here. In 2021, I got a lot going on. I have to figure out how I'm talking about movies, what slate of movies I'm going to be bringing to you, how I want to do it, what order. Am I going to highlight certain directors, highlight certain genres? I'm still working it out. So this video is me sharing with you, again, gratitude, thanking you for sticking with me so far, and letting you know as a YouTube person, it is what it is. It takes work. It takes commitment. I'm working on building a schedule. I need to get better at that, figuring out what days I'm taping, when I'm editing, and how to put it together. It takes a lot of work. So again, to those of you looking to start a new YouTube channel, just know there's a lot of resources out there you can find that will help you, but it is a commitment and it's much harder than it looks. But hang in there, stick with it. Eventually it all goes where you want it to go as long as you are at the right mindset and you're committed to it. All right. So that's it for me on Film Fan. I will see you on the next one. The first video of the year. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I'm kind of a little behind, but we'll get it cracking. All right. Thank you. Again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, got any value from this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions for me, any comments, go ahead. I appreciate them in the comment section, and I will see you on the next Film Fan.